and welcome back to ICOSA Media's coverage of Colorado Gives Day. Very pleased to be joined by Rita McCoy and Edith Chavez of Sense of Security. Welcome.
Well, thank you. Thanks for the invite.
You guys have an incredible organization. I'll read a little bit about it, but then I definitely want to hear what you have to say. So Sense of Security is a Colorado nonprofit that seeks to provide financial assistance to breast cancer patients to enhance their quality of life. Sense of Security has served more than 850 Colorado breast cancer patients while in treatment by providing over $1.4 million towards housing, utilities, groceries, transportations, COBRA or insurance premiums, and other basic living expenses over the last 12 years.
Yes.
So a very, very cool thing, and certainly one that I understand, because so much of the research and so much of the dollars in the breast cancer community go towards the cure, which is a wonderful thing. Mm-hmm. However, we sometimes forget the patients in this, don't we?
Yes. Well, and that's one of the things people have to remember, that one, there are people who have breast cancer. There are those that are going through treatment. When they're going through that particular situation, some of them may fall into the financial hardship portion. And that means that they found out they have breast cancer, they can't pay all of their medical bills, they may not have insurance, they may have lost their job because they have breast cancer. So one of the things that we want to make sure is that you shouldn't have to lose your home just because you have breast cancer. You really shouldn't. So that's one of the things we try to prevent. We want to make sure we pay their rent, utilities, mortgage, transportation, which is their car payments and gas. We want to make sure they have food on the table, not only for them, but also for their families. I mean, we have a lot of women in our program that are single parents. So if you can imagine, you have this illness, and some of them are fearful of this illness. Having breast cancer sometimes means, well, you know, what's going to happen to me? So in that particular instance, they're trying to figure out, you know, how do I make sense of all this, and how on earth am I going to pay all of these bills that's starting to stack up?
You oftentimes get the double whammy of having breast cancer, not being able to work, and then having to then provide for your family, which is doubly difficult. Talk about some of the programs that you guys work on and try to fund.
Edith is our program manager, and she's going to talk about pretty much our application process in order for people to be a part of our program, because we only have one program, the Financial Assistance Program. Exactly. And it is a sustained financial assistance program, so Edith can kind of shed some light on the application process.
Excellent. Edith.
Well, again, thank you for having us here. And first of all, the way most of the women, or we also have had men that are breast cancer patients, and they usually find out through social workers, patient navigators throughout the state of Colorado. There's hospitals, clinics statewide that help a lot of our patients. So they get referred to us, and I'll review the application. We have income guidelines, and so I review, make sure there's also medications that do and do not qualify for assistance. So I make sure they fall into that guideline. And unfortunately, because of limited funding, we do have a wait list, so I do let them know you have been put on the wait list. We'll be contacting you once your name comes up on the wait list. Once their name does come up on the wait list, there's a review process. I just update whatever's on their application. I also contact the social worker, patient navigator, there's breast cancer navigators, the doctor's offices, nurses. There's just so many people that are so caring and involved helping them get this assistance. And I just make sure the treatment they're in still qualifies for assistance. From then, I give the application over to Rita. She reviews it, and once they're accepted, I give them a call back, tell them
it's got to be a good phone call to make.
Oh, yeah.
And that's certainly why we're here today.
Matter of fact, she actually can call some of these people, and they're crying on the other end, because that is the best news that they've heard throughout this whole process.
I'm sure it eases their burden.
Absolutely.
So, and that's certainly why we're here today. Colorado Gives Day, a great day to give to you guys and your organization. Talk a little bit about where the money goes, what you're hoping to achieve today, and what would be the results of that money.
Well, we have lots of people on the waiting list, but we actually are targeting 25 of them that are on the waiting list with $25,000. If we can raise $25,000, we can make 25 more people really, really happy. And they are actually waiting by the phone to make sure that we can actually provide that for them. So we are excited that we are a part of Colorado Gives Day. This gives us the opportunity to tell people about who we are, what we do, how we help the community, and how we help breast cancer patients. These patients are throughout the state of Colorado. We cover the whole state of Colorado. So far, we've actually served 48 counties with our financial assistance program. So as you can see, it's really impactful. There are a lot of people waiting, and we want to make sure that we get out there and we help them out.
So certainly the call to action is allow you to make a couple of more of those fun phone calls.
Yes.
Allow you to get a
exactly.
few more of those women off and men off the waiting list and get them into the program.
That is correct.
One last question before we kind of move on. Talk about the other ways you guys seek to raise funds throughout the year.
So we have 4 different pots that we kind of pull from: individuals, corporations, foundations, and then special events. So we have those particular for instance, individuals, we do a lot of holiday appeal letters and things of that sort. For corporations, they come on board to kind of sponsor a lot of our special events that go on. Foundations, we have several different foundations that really help us out on a continuous basis, whether it's covering operations or whether it's covering the program. We're really happy to have them on board. And then our special events go throughout the entire year. We have Evening at Decadent Lights. We have Champagne and Diamonds, which is our premier event that we do each October. Most of the time it's around October Awareness Month. We try to raise at least $100,000 through that particular special event alone. So we have special events all throughout the year.
Excellent. Rita McCoy, Edith Chavez, want to thank you guys so much for the work, the great work that you guys do. Thank you, and hope you the very, very best on Colorado Gives Day, that you can make some really good phone calls. We want to see that happen.
We want to see that happen.
Very quickly, where can we find you?
So they can call 303-669-3113 or go to our website, senseofsecurity.org.
Senseofsecurity.org, and of course they can look for you on the Colorado Gives Day website.
You bet.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for your time, and we will be right back with our wrap-up of our coverage of Colorado Gives Day.